Okay, good evening, everyone. The time is 6 p.m. It's time to call this regular meeting of the San Felipe Del Oro CISD Board of Trustees, today being Monday, July 28, 2025. Mr. Secretary, would you call roll for us?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mesa. Mrs. Luna Chavez.
Present.
Mr. Almaraz.
Here.
Mr. Overfeld.
Not here.
Mr. Mesa.
Here.
Mrs. Guanajuato Webb.
Present.
Ms. Haynes.
Here.
Sir, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Let the record show that we do have a quorum of board members and that this meeting has been duly called in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. At this time, we will have opening ceremonies. Again, first, with a moment of silence for personal reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Once again, Mr. Orfeld is not here today, so he was in the hospital, has a good excuse. I hope all of us will keep him in our prayers. He's undergoing some treatment. I'm going to take some time to make a statement before we start our business on the agenda. Just wanted to address, I take my position on the board very serious. I am worthy of one vote like everybody else. I advocate for public schools and public education at my local level as well as at the state level. I am a 2012 graduate of Leadership TASB. There's been one other person on the history of San Felipe Del Oro CISD that was a master trustee, and that's Dr. Keys. I am a proud graduate of the class of 2012, and I'm about to start on my 20th year serving on this board, and I've been on the TASB board for 14 years. The Team of 8 training is a very special training that I take to heart, and I always emphasize to board members to be present because, again, everyone has to understand their role on the board. Not too long ago, we won the Outstanding School Board of the Year from MASBA, another state organization that I served as a director as well. At one time, I served on two state organizations, Texas Association of School Boards and MASBA, which is a Mexican American School Board Association, another state organization. I always, want to make sure that everyone understands their role, and so as a result, we won that award. When I'm in the diocese here, I always ask for board members if they have any questions. Sometimes in executive, we might go, clockwise with everyone having an input. I was elected as president on 3 different boards, and on the first time that I took the oath of office, that same day I became the president, which I didn't expect because I had no experience. But a complaint has been aired against me, and this was at the administrator's retreat by Becky Chavez. Becky complains that I have not allowed her to speak at board meetings, and so I have no earthly idea where that came from, but I would like to find out why she made that complaint.
I think, is this on?
Yeah.
I seriously didn't know you had taken it seriously. It was a joke that when we were talking, I do apologize. Mr. Mesa, I wish you had told me then and there, but I do apologize. It was something probably that I said that that was not really anything that was serious to me. And so I don't know if it was a misunderstanding. I am shocked right now that this is brought up because I don't even remember, tell you the truth.
I mean,
But wait,
yeah, I'm not asking for an apology, but, yeah.
Yes, well, I am apologizing because if you took it in that manner, then I need to apologize because it's nothing that I meant wrong, or maybe you do know that many times we joke around, or we, after our sessions or whatever, and it could have been that. But my apologies.
Okay. With that being said, thank you so much. And
You're welcome.
I just want to make sure again that we all have time to answer questions, and I want to make sure that everybody, I don't suppress anyone's voice on this board, so I want to make sure that that is understood. Again, I'm completing my 20th year, and this is the first complaint. So again, thank you, Becky.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had no idea this was coming.
No, that's fine. Okay, we go on with our business, and the first item we have is item 8, report facilities and construction updates. Hector Chapa.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, members of the board. Tonight's presentation will provide update on the status of the Cody Warlaw Gymnasium renovation, the San Felipe del Rio Cody Warlaw Gym fence, as well as HVAC repairs district-wide. Currently, Cody Warlaw, we proceeded, the major items that are still pending, HVAC and electrical, they're both approximately 95% complete. The HVAC, the 3 big units, 25 tons each, came online this afternoon, and the gym feels a lot different now. The electrical power was established by AEP today, permanent power, and thus the reason we do have HVAC now. There's minor still items still pending on both. The HVAC, we still need to place the 2 5-ton units that will provide conditioned air to the front of the building as well as the locker rooms, and that's scheduled to be completed in the next couple of weeks. All they're pending is to install the condensers on the outside and connect them. However, the contractor wants to wait till the landscaper finish that area so they don't, could possibly damage the equipment when they're doing work there. The electrical, minor things, labeling panels, interior panels, the sub-panels, and so forth, but both are pending still to be inspected by the City of Del Rio mechanical inspectors. The doors and windows, the doors have been completed as well as the majority of the windows. The only thing that's pending is the spandrel glass that's going to be, it's basically an obscured glass that goes in the front of the building where the old windows over the bathrooms are located, as well above the doors. That material is scheduled to be here tomorrow. And the last item that's pending would be the finishing of the floor. The company is scheduled to be here on Monday the 4th. They're guesstimating that it'll take about 3 to 4 days to finish the floor. Here's some pictures, part of the partitions that are going up in the restrooms and the girls' restrooms. The exterior painting is complete, interior as well as exterior. Here's the south wall, followed by the north wall. The fence project, the fence has been installed around San Felipe Memorial Middle School. The only thing that's pending are the gates, which are being constructed as we speak. The contract plans to come in on Wednesday to hang all the gates. And in the meantime, a local painter is painting the fencing. Followed by HVAC repairs. Previously, funding was provided for Calderon Elementary and Cardwell. Those 2 projects have been completed. The chiller number 2 at high school, which we're having issues because of that ruptured pipe we severed several months ago. That's been completed. Both chillers are operational now. The only thing that's pending for the summer is the funding we provided were provided for Lamar for the cafeteria and the gym, I'm sorry. The equipment is scheduled to be here on August 4th. The contractor says they should be able to finish installing it by the end of the week. However, as a contingency, they're going to install a motor that they're going to be as a surplus motor to one of the cafeteria units, so we can have at least one of the cafeteria units up and running, and that's going to take place this week. I'll proceed with the work orders. Maintenance for April through June, into June. Maintenance received 990 work orders. 83% were complete. 0 to 15 days, that's 112 work orders, 70% complete. 16 to 30 days, 240 work orders, 69% complete. 31 to 60 days, 304 work orders were received, 91% complete. 61 to 90 days, 334 work orders were received, 92% complete. Technology, the previous 90 days, they received 2,793 work orders, 2,702 were complete, 97% rate. 0 to 15 days, 587 work orders were received, 558 were completed, 95% rate completion. 16 to 30 days, 337 work orders were received, 314 completed for a rate of 93%. 31 to 60 days, 931 were received, 902 were completed, 97%. 61 to 90 days, 938 were received, 928 were completed for a closure rate of 99%. Transportation, in the previous 90 days, 184 work orders were received, 173 were completed, 94%. 0 to 15 days, 21 were received, 17 were completed, 81%. 16 to 30 days, 28 were received, 28 were completed, 100% complete. 31 to 60 days, 75% work orders were received, 70 were completed, 93%. 61 to 90 days, 60 were received, 58 completed, 97%. Questions?
Questions from the board? Yes, Shabazz?
Hey, just one real quick, Mr. Chapa. The Lamar for ETA is August 4th. It's still, teachers are going to be okay to go in there. It's still
That only affects the cafeteria and the gym.
Okay.
However, like I said, there's a contingency plan for the cafeteria.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So I guess, on the same line question, orientation, it won't affect anything on orientation?
Mr. President, if I may,
Yes.
the unit should arrive on the 4th, but it will be sometime during that week. So the Lamar principal will have to arrange orientation in smaller groups so that, having the cafeteria full of parents does create a lot of heat. And it's the same for the gym. So they are going to have to organize orientation in smaller rooms so that everybody's not crowded. Now, if orientation happens to be on Wednesday and everything is fixed, then it wouldn't. But we're going to work with her to schedule it in smaller groups so that they can be in the classrooms or the library.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Go on to item 8B, District of Innovation, Sandra Hernandez.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening, I'm going to give you an update on the District of Innovation. We're going to begin with just an overview for everyone here and our audience. The District of Innovation is a designation that school districts receive where they can be exempt from certain statutes of law in the Texas Education Code. So our school district has been a District of Innovation for 8 years. We're going on our 8th year. And so those exemptions are outlined in the adopted innovation plan. So just to give you a very brief historical background, in the fall of 2017 is when our school district first became interested in adopting a resolution to support being a District of Innovation district. In 2018, we completed that multi-step process to become a District of Innovation. In summer of 2023, the district renewed the innovation plan because innovation plans are only subject for 5 years, and so the term of the designation needed to be renewed. And then this past winter, the district amended the District of Innovation plan to expand CTE certification to include more areas for CTE certification. So our exemptions in our District of Innovation plan, we're currently exempted from 3 statutes. These statutes include the first day of instruction, the certification required for teaching, and the designation of a campus behavior coordinator. So these are the 3 areas in which our district has developed a District of Innovation plan and has received exemptions for. So during this past summer, with the 89th Texas Legislature, there has been some changes to the House Bill 6, which called for us to make some changes to our current plan. So the District of Innovation Committee had to be reconvened. We reconvened back in July 15th to review what those recent changes were in legislation due to House Bill 6, and also to consider the need, the current need that our district has for staffing art and music program, the teaching, and to consider the need to amend the current District of Innovation plan. So let's talk about House Bill 6. So the 89th Texas Legislature met, and basically they've prohibited the adoption of District of Innovation exemptions from Chapter 37. And so what that means is that in our District of Innovation plan, the designation of a campus behavior coordinator we can no longer as a district request that exemption. All school districts must have a designated administrator who would be deemed as the coordinator to oversee the implementation and application of Chapter 37. So that doesn't mean that the discipline applies to just, or the administration of discipline applies to just one administrator. What that means is only the one coordinator is the person who's going to have oversight. And so the exemption from Chapter 37 is no longer applied for District of Innovations. We can have our assistant principals continue to apply discipline with the oversight of one campus behavior coordinator that is designated. So the recommendation to the committee was to remove the text and the language that's in the plan. So what you see there basically, and you have a copy in your packet, is a copy of the proposed amended plan, which removes the text of language pertaining to the designation of a campus behavior coordinator. The next recommendation to the committee was to review the need for art and music certified teachers. So there is a lack, there's a need to hire certified teachers. However, they're not all readily available in all of the areas. So the recommendation to the committee was to look at the Innovation Plan Exemption 2 with regard to educator certification. We currently have the educator certification exemption for just CTE. The request was now, the proposal is to add and art and music programs. So this would allow the school district, in the event that we could not hire an individual with a certificate in art or music in a certain area, this would allow us to provide that exemption with certain criteria. So the consideration for the committee was to look at, you'll see the same type of exemption for your CTE program, only in this case, due to the experienced shortage of certified art and music teachers for fine arts programs, the exemption from the Texas Education Code, Chapter 21.003, would allow the district the flexibility to hire teaching professionals in hard-to-fill art and music classes, teaching positions. So eligible teachers or individuals we would add the same criteria as we did with CTE. The requirement for these candidates for hard-to-fill positions must have that following criteria. They must have a degree in formal training and education in art or music. They must have that professional work experience. So in the plan, we've included the need to be able to provide someone to fill those positions, but although they may not have a teaching certificate, they would have an art degree or a music degree, and they would have professional work experience, The designation of also the change of the plan would change that in the event of candidate interviews, it would go to the designated principal who would be requesting. In the event that there are no applicants, that person would bring that request forward for review. That person must possess, of course, the information that I shared with you earlier, their degree in the art or music, and then also the work experience. Now, the District of Innovation Committee has been very strong in supporting the fact that what first needs to happen is the hiring of credentialed teachers first. And so, and only if there is the need, when there isn't a person with a degree, then we would go to the next level and use the District of Innovation plan. So the committee, as part of the process, is the committee would propose the information to the committee, and the committee must put this to a vote. And so here you see the results. There was a poll taken with the individuals that attended this meeting, and so you'll see unanimously they approved. The question was, do you approve the proposed amendments to the District of Innovation Plan? And you'll see the majority voted in favor of the amendment to the plan. So what are the next steps? So the next steps is that later on in the agenda, the District of Innovation Committee, because they put a formal vote, we will be proposing a recommendation, and it would be presented to the Board of Trustees for approval. And so with your approval, this would allow us to amend the District of Innovation Plan and notify the commissioner of the amendment. Are there any questions?
I'll turn it over to the board members. Ms. Webb?
Senator, I don't see this necessarily as a question, and it might not be related especially to you. Dr. Rios might have to answer it.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like clarity on the oversight behavior coordinator. You mentioned that they're not necessarily going to be doing the discipline because the assistant principals are the ones that take care of the discipline. So what, in reality, is the job of the oversight behavior coordinator? Are they going to be attending the level 1 hearings, the level 2 hearings? Or what is their role if the assistant principals are taking care of the discipline?
Mr. President, if I may.
Dr. Reyes?
Ms. Webb, thank you for the question. It gives us room to amplify the explanation. Everybody does discipline, but there are certain aspects of Chapter 37 that everybody is expected to comply with. And there has to be that one person on campus that reviews those decisions. So take, for example, a student's going to go to alternative school, okay? Was due process followed? It doesn't mean that they have to be the hearing officer. It just means that they ensure if a student needs some kind of ARD hearing before the placement, that all those steps are followed. And we talked about it. It has to be the campus principal. So we will be in compliance with the law, but it will be every campus principal that is responsible for the due process happening anytime there's a hearing, that we don't have suspension of McKinney-Vento students, for example. All of the Chapter 37 requirements, that person on campus will be the one responsible for overseeing that everything is done in accordance. That's all it means.
All right, thank you for the explanation. Thank you, Sandra.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? My eyes are not adjusting to the fine print. Sandra, but the highlighted in blue, that's a new
Yes, sir.
amendment.
The blue text is new language. The text that is stricken through in red is what is being proposed to be deleted.
Okay. So this will be coming up to us later on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? All good?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Go on to the next item on the agenda is item 8C, Strategic Compensation Plan. Amy Childers.
Good evening. Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening, I would like to update you on some information with our TIA, our Texas, excuse me, our teacher incentive allotment, as well as an opportunity that the district has. So in 2019, our 86th Texas legislature enacted House Bill 3, which established the teacher incentive allotment. The goal was to recruit, retain, and reward the most effective teachers in Texas. And the district for the for 23-24, we had our designations, and then we are currently working on our 24-25 collaboration and designations. So we are participating in the current teacher incentive allotment, sorry. In 2025, the 89th Texas legislature passed House Bill 2, adding the acknowledged designation category to the teacher incentive allotment. We already had the recognized, exemplary, and master's designations, and now they have added the fourth, the acknowledged designation. They also added a new designation for districts known as the enhanced TIA. Now, this will require districts to create a strategic compensation system that compensates all teachers and campus administrators in order to obtain the enhanced TIA designation. So what is the strategic compensation and the enhanced teacher incentive allotment? So the strategic compensation refers to a system that is built to identify effectiveness and reward performance, while the enhanced TIA is a designation a district can earn to bring an additional 10% of TIA funds to support their system. Both the strategic compensation and the enhanced TIA are both based on student outcomes, observations, and other district priorities that we would define. Strategic compensation and the accompanying enhanced TIA designation supports districts in devising a system to compensate all teachers and campus administrators based on the 5 goals of strategic compensation. These 5 goals are to develop a refined administrator evaluation system for principals and assistant principals, to develop and adopt a TIA-compliant teacher evaluation system for all, to abandon the traditional step and ladder pay system and transition to one based on bands of effectiveness, to blend the TIA, teacher retention allotment, and other funding sources to ensure financial stability, and to adopt an approach to teacher and administrator assignment based on student need. And this type of compensation plan would be for all teachers and administrators. So how would a strategic compensation benefit our district? If we differentiate pay based on effectiveness, develop evidence-based evaluation systems, align district and the teacher incentive allotment funds, and prioritize increasing compensation based on effectiveness, then we will see higher teacher and administrator retention, increased educator satisfaction, improved student performance and satisfaction, and growth in the number and quality of new educators. So in order to help a district move to the strategic compensation, TEA is having a strategic compensation fall 2025 cohort. And the district, it is an application that the district will file to work with TEA in order for us to move to this type of strategic compensation for our administrators and our teachers. The application is due by August 11th. On August 22nd, the district should be notified. They are taking, I believe, they're looking at 50 applicants for this cohort. It would require 2 mandatory district meetings that we would need to be part of. And then below are also is the selection criteria that they are basing the applications on. As part of the application, the superintendent and the board president are required to sign an agreement stating that they know and understand the 5 goals of the strategic compensation that we just reviewed. So by filling out the application, and if we were selected, what would we be committing to by participating in the cohort, and what support would TEA provide the district? So the district would be required, we would be working with a technical assistance provider, and it would require a 3-year period to develop the strategic compensation plan. So it would be a 3-year commitment on behalf of the district. For the TIA, the teacher incentive allotment, which we are already working with, for the 3 years, we would continue working with what we're doing to make sure that all teachers were eligible and would be able to receive a designation, so that all of our cohorts were, all of our classes, all of our subjects would have a test, and that all teachers would be eligible to be designated as part of the teacher incentive allotment. Also, during the first year, we would craft a compliant plan for our campus principals and assistant principals. That's the area marked in the navy. By year 2, we would be able to provide scorecards to our administrators and share with them the proposed salary that would come along with the effectiveness levels that are chosen in year 1. While the final tweaks would be made for the administrator plan, in year 2, we would then also start the same implementation process for our teacher strategic compensation plan. Then in year 3, the administrator plan would be in full effect, and the teacher plan will continue to be refined and fully implemented. As part of this application, we would be required to identify a strategic compensation lead who would act as the primary project manager over the 3-year implementation. Secondly, we would assemble a design team who would drive the vision for our model by overseeing the system design and progress and by participating in regular meetings with the technical assistance partner. Members of this design team could include the superintendent, the strategic compensation lead, district leaders from other departments such as finance, C&I, human resources, data and accountability, and our teacher incentive allotment lead. In addition, as part of the requirements, there would be monthly virtual meetings that we would also be required to be part of throughout the 3-year process. And that is all I have at this time.
Questions for Amy from board members? Ms. Webb?
Can you elaborate on the no harm pilot of the education compensation plan?
Yes. So it is, it would be, so for the, and as part of the implementation, when you set up your compensation plan, you set up what the salary increase for, let's say, the campus administrator would be for the first year. Let's say they do well on their evaluation, and we give them a certain increase. The district can choose to then, for the second year, implement a hold harmless or harmless, to where on the second year, let's say they don't do as well on their evaluation, and so it would not be as, they would not receive the same type of increase that they received the year before. We could choose to not reduce their salary for that second year, but that is just for the second year of the implementation. After that, yearly, they have to qualify as, based on the plan that we put together with the evaluation and things like that, they would have to, each year, it would then be based on the evaluation that they receive would be the type of raise that they would receive going forward. But for the first 2 years, we can, both for the administrators and the teachers, once we implement the plan, we could do a harmless, where they, the second year, they would not go down if they did not do as well the first year.
Okay, then my next question goes to Dr. Rios. If this is addressing teachers and administrators as far as compensation and TIA plan for their salary increase, how does that affect other people within the district? Or, because we're not addressing anybody else other than teachers and administrators, correct?
That's correct, ma'am. This is strictly for campus-based individuals. And it would in effect have the same effect that it has with some teachers now that are considering not going into counselor roles or assistant principal roles because they worry about taking a cut in pay, especially if they qualified for a master's certification. It would be the same thing for a principal considering taking on a director job or a chief officer job because if the compensation is high enough, they have that autonomy at the campuses, you know, they may not deem it worth it coming into central admin for the same reason as teachers don't want to now go into administration, at least those that have qualified.
Thank you.
Can I add something? I'm sorry, Mr. Bonas has a question.
Mr. Manas?
Just so I understand completely, where this is to move us away from our current compensation plan where a teacher comes in, know years experience, and they get their next step, next step every year. This is to move us away from that and put us in a completely merit-based compensation plan. Is that what we're trying to do? Or is that what this report
That,
is outlining?
that's exactly what the legislature is trying to get campuses to do, to move away from a ladder-based compensation to it all be on achievement. That is one of the reasons that they added that extra dimension to the teacher incentive allotment, the acknowledge, because then you could provide that as some kind of base pay if they at least met that minimum requirement.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Anyone else? I just want to say that, finally compensation is going to be given to teachers, not for, just the market value, but the value of what they bring to the classroom in regard to success. For a while, I've been telling you that, when we have our meetings, the Commissioner of Education goes to TASB, and so that is the proposed way of now having salaries done throughout the districts. His philosophy is, why would you compensate, a teacher that's in need of assistance the same as you compensate a teacher with 30 years experience doing a phenomenal job and being recognized as an outstanding teacher because of the student scores. And, there's so many factors that come into play because right now, the special session is dealing with removing the STAR test. So we don't know what the future brings, but either way, there's going to be measures for achievement in the classroom. And I know for years we've been pushing this because finally teachers are going to be, if they're master teachers, they get an enormous amount, like $16,000. And so finally they're going to be compensated for what, again, they bring the value to the classroom because of the success they have. So this is a wonderful thing. I know it's a lot of work. I look at the virtual meetings and all the other different meetings that don't have, but it's well worth it because again, finally they're going to get the compensation they deserve. And I like the fact that administrators are in this mix now because again, that's so important. I've always mentioned at the convocation that it's not the superintendent, it's not the board, it's not the principal, but the teacher in the classroom. But again, everything that centers around the school is from the leader at that campus, again, the morale and again, the positive, I guess, awards and recognition that they provide for the teachers. And so as a result, like a pat on the back because they continue growing and growing. So it's a wonderful thing, and I know it's a lot of work on administration. I know that, back then, Aide Garcia and a lot of people in her department worked hours and hours to make sure that we initiated the teacher incentive allotment. And so we're finally second year of being compensated for all the good work that happens throughout the campuses. So it's a wonderful thing, by all means. Anyone else? Dr. Rios?
I wanted to add just for the board to think about, the 89th legislature created a situation where we have to come up with a whole lot of policies almost overnight. I've asked our general counsel to have his legislative team do almost like a to-do list. Take this one, for example. The application for this is already due here
August 11th.
August 11th. And we have to take advantage of moving forward and doing it. So we'd like to do it. It does not require board approval. It does require the board president's signature to at least submit the application. And then we'll find out if there's any other things that the board has to approve as we go forward. But we would like to at least try and be part of this cohort so we can learn more about it. It's a good opportunity, but it's also the direction that they're going in because, as Mr. Mesa said, they've indicated this over and over and over again. It's just all happening really fast, and that's where we're at.
Great. I think it's a wonderful thing. Now, let me just also inform the board that once they're on, it's good for 5 years, the designation.
So the individual teacher incentive, the teacher's incentive allotment designations are good for 5 years. This would just be our yearly raises that we would provide the teachers and the administrators. That's what this would be based on.
Okay.
This would be yearly
And all the money comes from the state.
for the teacher incentive allotment portion, yes. And then we could, once we reach the 10% and apply for the enhanced TIA, then we would receive an additional 10% of funds for the.
Okay. All good? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is the consent agenda. Again, there's a couple of, well, there's a bunch of meetings, not a couple of them, but public hearing, regular school board meeting, public hearing, special call board meeting, special call board meeting. I think all of you know that during the budget, we do meet quite a bit. And so if you look at those minutes, if there's any corrections to be made, the donations will be posted already in social media. And then there's some purchases. If you look at item 5, if anyone has a question to address to administration before we take one vote on all the agenda items under consent. I think a lot of the purchase orders are annual purchase orders that we do in regard to different programs, whether they're reading material or technology, software. Any questions from the board? Is there a motion to approve? Motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mrs. Webb to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. We go on to administration, and this is item 10. First item that we have is consideration to approve the delegate and alternate for the 2025 TASB Delegate Assembly. As you all know, being a TASB director, I am an alternate, but we appoint someone else from the board, and so I'd like for Mrs. Webb, if you could be the delegate, and then Michelle Maraz, if you could be the alternate in case, for whatever reason, Mrs. Webb cannot attend, then Michelle Maraz would be the alternate. And then we go out to, we need approval on that. So is there a motion? A motion, I make the motion that we have Mrs. Webb as the alternate and Mr. Almaraz as the alternate. You're the delegate, and he's the alternate delegate. Okay, motion by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, we go on to item 10B, consideration to approve an amendment to the District of Innovation local plan. Sandra Hernandez, this is exactly what she mentioned before.
Good evening once again, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. In accordance with the Texas Education Code 12, Section 12A.007, local innovation plan may be amended, rescinded, or renewed if the action is approved by a vote of the district level committee established under Section 11.251. The District of Innovation Advisory Committee held on July 15th. The committee approved an amendment to the local innovation plan that proposes edits to remove the exemption of the Texas Education Code, Chapter 37, 0012, the designation of a campus behavior coordinator in compliance with House Bill 6. In addition to that amendment, the District of Innovation Committee recommended the District Innovation Plan extend the exemption from Texas Education Code Chapter 21.003A, certification required to include art and music programs. The additional edits to the plan includes language that describes the need to fill vacancies in art and music. And it explains that eligible candidates for these positions are required to have a degree or formal training or education in music or art. At this time, we'd like to propose that the board recommend the approval of the amendment to the District of Innovation Plan.
Any further questions for Sandra? No?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Okay, you've already read the recommendation, correct? The whole thing, we've heard about it. So Mrs. Webb has made the motion, seconded by Michelle Maraz. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Mesa.
Dr. Rios?
Yes, Mr. Mesa, Later on in the evening, the board in closed session will discuss item 17A2. Based on the board's decisions, that will have implications for items 11A and 14C, D, and E. So we ask that the board table these items until after closed session. That is item 11A and item 14C, D, and E.
Okay. So if board members, if you could do that, make a little notation on your agenda. With that being said, we're going to go into item 11B, consideration to approve the adjunct faculty agreement and resolution regarding extracurricular status of 4-H organization. Jane Villarreal.
Good evening, Board President Mesa, Dr. Rios, members of the board. This item is consideration to approve the adjunct faculty agreement and resolution regarding extracurricular status for the 4-H organization. This allows public school students to be considered in attendance when participating in off-campus activities with an adjunct staff member of the school district. This amendment will provide local school boards the opportunity to recognize county agents as adjunct staff members to count students present while participating in 4-H extension educational activities for foundation school program purposes. The Val Verde County requests adjunct staff member status for the following individuals for the 25-26 school year. That would be Tommy Eater and Elena Pighenth. And they also are eligible for participation in the Texas Retirement System of Texas and have a minimum of a bachelor's degree. You will also see a resolution that recognizes the Val Verde County, Texas 4-H organization as an extracurricular status participant as it pertains to extracurricular activities.
Questions for Mrs. Villarreal? Jane, the compensation comes through who? Who pays the faculty?
We don't. It's their
The county?
organization.
Mr. Mesa, they are either employees or volunteers. We don't pay anything.
It's just an agreement. Okay. Then, recommendation?
Yes. It is a recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees recognize the above-listed county extension agents as adjunct staff members and to count students participating in the 4-H extension educational activities in attendance for foundation school program purposes. It is also requested that Dr. Rios and Dr. Carlos H. Rios, Superintendent of Schools, and the San Felipe Del Rio CISD School Board President sign the adjunct faculty agreement and the resolution regarding extracurricular status of 4-H organization as presented.
Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion. Motion made by Michelle Naras, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries. Item 11C, consideration to approve new courses offered at Del Rio Early College High School for the 2025-2026 school year. Jane Villarreal.
Hello again. This item is consideration to approve new courses offered at Del Rio Early College High School for the 25-26 school year. Early College High School administration is requesting to expand opportunities for students to enroll in the Path College Career courses 1 through 4. These courses are a part of the TEA list of approved innovative courses. School districts and open enrollment schools or charter schools wishing to offer innovative courses must have approval from their Board of Trustees and implement the course as written. Innovative courses may be used to meet state elective credit and are not approved to meet any other requirement for graduation. I have listed there the 4 courses that we are asking for approval. Path College Career 1, 2, 3, and 4. and the grade levels associated to each of the course. Again, students enrolled in this course or these courses will be able to earn a local credit for each of the course that is completed. Again, this course provides academic and social support for students to prepare them for challenges they must face after high school. These courses foster deeper levels of thinking and reasoning in the core content areas. And these courses develop personal, interpersonal, and cognitive skills that are essential to productivity in both the collegiate and business worlds.
Any questions for Jane? Okay. Recommendation?
Yes, sir. It is a recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the new courses offered at Del Rio Early College High School for the 25-26 school year as presented.
For the recommendation, is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mr. Almaraz. Second to the motion, Mr. Galindo. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go on to Human Resources. Item A, consideration to approve the conversion of. Let's take this thing off here. Let's see. Conversion of a counselor to an assistant principal at Blended Academy. Amy Childress.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. At this time, administration is requesting the conversion of a counselor position at Blended to an assistant principal position at Blended Academy.
Any questions for Amy?
No, sir.
Mr. Almaraz?
How many counselors do we have right now at,
We have two, sir.
2? Okay, so we'll just,
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? We're good? I'm going to read the recommendation.
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the conversion of a counselor to an assistant principal at Blended Academy.
For the recommendation from administration, there's a motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion
Thank you.
carries. Item 14B, consideration to approve the 2025-2026 appraisal calendar. Amy Childress.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening in front of you, we are presenting the 2025-2026 appraisal calendar. Appraisals, or you can start, observations can begin on September 3rd, 2025, and must be completed by May 7th of 2026.
Any questions for Amy? Amy, we do have the designated, if they, I guess, challenge the evaluation, they can have an alternate
Yes, we have,
person do evaluation.
yes, the second evaluator. Yes,
All
sir.
those have been listed.
Yes, we have that.
Anyone else? You want to read the recommendation,
Yes,
please?
sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the 2025-2026 appraisal calendar as discussed.
For the recommendation, is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mr. Webb. Is there a second to the motion? Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're on item 17. The time is 6:59 p.m. We're going to go into closed session pursuant to policy 551.074 and 551.071. If any action needs to be taken, it will be taken upon reconvening into open session. We're now in executive session.
What are we gonna table?
Okay, the time is 8:24 PM. We're reconvening into open session. No action was taken in executive. We're going to go back to item 11A. Consideration to approve submission of application for the 2025-2026 Nita M. Lowy 21st Century Community Learning Center Cycle 12, Year 3, continuation application for federal funding to the appropriate headquarter authority. Jane Villarreal.
Good evening again. San Felipe Del Rio CISD is in its third year of implementation of the 21st Century ACE grant. Students enrolled at Dr. Lonnie Green, Dr. Fermin Calderon, Ruben Chavita, Lamar Elementary, along with the three middle schools, Garfield Middle School, Del Rio Middle School, and San Felipe Memorial Middle School, are eligible to participate in this after-school and summer program. This program offers interventions for academics along with enrichment and social support for students and families who are enrolled. The total grant amount is $1,818,616.
Questions? No questions, so you want to read the
Yes, sir.
recommendation?
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the submittal of the 21st Century Community Learning Center Cycle 12, Year 3 continuation application in the amount of $1,818,616 for the funding of federal programs to the appropriated headquarter authority for the 25-26 school year as presented.
You've heard the recommendation from administration. Is there a motion? Motion made, Mr. Almaraz, seconded by Mr. Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Go on to item 14D, consideration to approve the conversion of an ACE director to District School Improvement Director. Amy Childers.
Good evening. At this time, administration is asking to convert a vacant position to the position of a district school improvement director.
Okay, any questions for Amy? Hearing none, recommendation, please.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the conversion of a vacancy position to the District School Improvement Director.
For the recommendation, there's a motion from Mr. Galindo, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Go on to item 14E, consideration to approve the updated 2025-2026 district compensation plan. Amy Childress.
Amy, I'll explain this one. Members of the board, Mr. Mesa, members of the board, during closed session, we discussed the site coordinators for the 21st Century Grant. We're going to table that action item when we address item 18 on the agenda. So that's not going to be reflected on the compensation plan because those are going to stay there. We are not removing other positions that were a domino effect on this one. So based on what we discussed in closed session, it's the administration's recommendation that you approve the compensation plan based on those decisions. We will obviously have to go and type it out, okay? But the compensation plan would reflect what we discussed in closed session.
Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Any questions? Okay.
Therefore, Mr. Mesa, members of the board, it is the recommendation of the administration that the compensation be discussed in line with what's discussed in closed session.
Having heard the recommendation, is there a motion to approve? Motion made by Mr. Almaraz, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries. We go on to item 18A, consideration to approve the personnel report to include the following: new hires, district vacancies, retirements, resignations, Reassignments, Amy Childers.
I'm sorry.
17?
Go ahead, Amy.
I apologize. Are we going back? We had tabled item 14C, the job description and evaluation. Are we?
Yes, we have to approve that, Mr. President. I'm sorry.
Okay, item 14.
C. And we started with D.
Oh,
Should have started
okay.
with C.
Sorry.
14C, discussion possible action to approve the employee job descriptions and evaluation forms as recommended.
Good evening. This evening, we are bringing to you a new job description and evaluation forms for the District School Improvement Director.
Questions for Amy? You want to read the recommendation?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the employee job descriptions and evaluations forms as discussed.
Towards the recommendation, there's a motion by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mr. Maraz. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item D, consideration to approve the conversion of the ACE Director to District.
We already did
Already
that.
did it.
You've already done
We're
that?
square.
We're square.
We can start.
We go on to item 18A,
17?
consideration to approve the personnel report. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Good evening. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the retirements, resignations, and vacancies as discussed in closed session and the following new personnel. Kathleen Smith, fifth grade teacher at Buena Vista Elementary. Sean Fennessy, special education teacher at Buena Vista Elementary. Mariah Winfrey, ELA teacher, New Tech at San Felipe Memorial Middle School. Amanda Curtis, biology teacher at Del Rio Freshman School. Karina Santos, ARD facilitator at San Felipe Memorial Middle School. Cristicel Rivera, health Spanish teacher at Student Guidance and Learning Center. Jasmine Islas, pre-kindergarten bilingual teacher at Irene Cardwell Head Start. Reina Riojas, third grade teacher at Lamar Elementary. Joanna Baca, art teacher at Ruben Chavita Elementary. Audrey Adiola, science teacher at Del Rio High School. And Robert Torres, special education teacher, behavior unit at Del Rio Middle School.
Any questions? Hearing none. Recommendation?
Oh, sorry.
That was a recommendation.
That was the
Motion.
Motion then. I need a motion for approval. You've heard all the employees that were teachers and different personnel that we're hiring. Motion made by Amy Haynes, seconded by Mrs. Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
We're going to table 18B, and we go on to 18C. Consideration to approve the suspension of TEA applications for certification waivers. Amy Childers.
Yes, at this time, we will have two waivers that we need to apply for to TEA that were discussed in closed session.
Okay. Any questions for Amy? Okay. So everyone knows what the recommendation?
Yes, sir.
Then I'll entertain a motion for approval. Motion made by Mr. Almaraz, seconded by Mrs. Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item 18D, consideration to approve the position of 21st Century Community Learning Center Program Site Coordinator. Amy Childers.
Good evening. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve Yesenia Puente for the 21st Century Learning Center Program Site Coordinator at Del Rio Middle School.
Got the recommendation. Is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mr. Almaraz. Is there a second to the motion? Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
There being no other items on the agenda, is there a motion to adjourn? Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mrs. Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you and good night, everyone.